in the urban as well as the rural areas, right? Like, so the urban would know that, okay, this is, we are creating an avenue for people to actually disseminate information across the state. Not so much, I wouldn't say it's a solution as of now, but then it's just an avenue to open up to just create more awareness about current issues, about so for example, like let's say people talk about vaccine and things like that, we could come out with a content that is up to date, and then we could disseminate it to the rural areas, because I think that there's a lag time in delivering information, because as I understand from Hamza and from my experience back home, is that you have a proxy or a leader, and when they're in town, and that's when they will absorb information, and then by the time it reaches to rural areas, I think the information can be slightly outdated. So I think that's where we're trying to go to.
Yeah, I see. So because
maybe I can add something.
yes.
Okay, when the pandemic happens, okay, the folks from the rural area, they're mainly involved in agriculture, F&B, and also handicraft. At least that is what happened in Sarawak. So when the pandemic happened, most of these fellow they lose the source of income, and actually what we're trying to achieve is that creating a bigger or new, at least new opportunity for them to sustain in their daily life. So this is more or less like changing the way of doing things. For example, there's a Penan lady, right? One of our teammates working with Penan lady. Okay, maybe before this, they are very, very dependent on the local tourism industry. So when the pandemic happens, it actually challenged them on how they are doing things, marketing the product better and promote it better to the outside community. So maybe through this platform, they actually learn how to market the products. For the F&B fellow, maybe they can learn how to produce in a bigger or higher volume, but less capitals. Maybe they will source out for a more sustainable way of doing things. Maybe the mentor that we invite can share the best practices from other countries, other parts of the, other parts of the world. So they can learn a lot of things through this platform. They don't have the internet connection, but they still can learn through the audio files that we share. Because in outside rural Sarawak, they still listen to the radio, and this is the easiest way how we can connect to these people. So that's basically how we can help these villagers and rural area people.
I see.
And for the sake of this exercise of this particular jam, because of time constraints, we have decided to focus on agriculture as you know, in a way, in our case study, simply because it's the largest, the impact will be the greatest, because so many of them are involved in agriculture, that we still focus on that first, and then maybe expand later on into the crafts area, into F&B, etc. So, you know, we're talking about agriculture best practices, maybe not necessarily to produce more, but produce better quality, so that, you know, they have a higher value for what, you know, what their ground is, you know, is yielding, for example. You know, those are the kinds of areas we might be looking at pursuing.
Right, thank you, Camelia and Mathrin, for sharing your part. So it's good, Catherine, on your side, Mathrin, on your side, that you validate that in the rural areas, there's still a lot of people tuning in to listening to radios, because I just messaged my cousins at Sarawak, like, do you guys still listen to radios? But it's good that you validate that it's still happening there. Now the keywords, I can see the collaborative effort with this good intent, right? Now the keywords that I notice here is rural, Now, I currently work with Samdabi Plantation, and whenever we go to estates, I tell you the connectivity over there at times is almost zero. It's not what you need to consider over here. Now, as you firm up your idea on this, I'm going to work based on the keywords, all right? So with the keyword of rural, it means that you need to take into consideration of thinking their offline experience, right? Because whenever we talk about experience, it's typically about a site that is online or and so forth, but it actually requires you to also think that if they go offline, they can still add things into this, or they can still download things beforehand and learn from it. So I heard as well just now that John said something about content in WhatsApp group, right? Now, why did people shift to Telegram? Because WhatsApp is not the best for you to actually archive your content. It actually, yes, there's the search button over there, but it makes it difficult to actually browse back again. And then you got caught up with other conversation, and then you're going to end up with an avalanche of things. And then why did people then shift from Telegram to Clubhouse? Because Clubhouse, there is this ease, it's actually not apple to apple. Now Telegram is an entirely different thing actually, but Clubhouse is more towards hosting, right? It doesn't document all the calls, but it provides ease for you to join all of these sessions. So I'm just associating all that ideas under the keyword learn or content. Another, and that associate with the keyword awareness. Now, when it comes to awareness, there's actually a plentiful of strategy that you can actually think of, because maybe the outcome of your experience today, in which I hope you have fun, because you know what, kudos for you to making time for this. You know, I really applaud you for that. So I hope that, you know, along the way you have fun and you learn as much. Okay, so coming back on track, is that awareness, there are plenty of ways, right? For a good example is Kuching Aid Sarawak. Now, because of her initiative on, I mean, initially it was just like, you know, something that she, I believe it was her father-in-law who was passed away or something. And then along the way, she discovered all the underserved people, and then she make it into like a campaign. Now she herself is an influencer, so maybe you can think it from the perspective like, you know what, okay, we can still backlog or keep the idea of having like a website per se, but there's also a strategy to help increase the awareness, because by far TikTok, Instagram is the fastest platform or tool that we should consider to leverage on when it comes to awareness, because it's fast, right? And then the keyword of agriculture. There is this strong surge of entrepreneurs. For example, Toclan, Toclan, where they were even featured on television on the the increase of orders for people to actually start to grow their plants at home. Now, for them, it's the case of hydroponic, right? I mean, I'm not well versed in planting my own. I really need help with that. I can actually just grow chilies. But anyway, coming back to the point is that because it's from the urban community themselves, right? So it looks a bit like plastic-ish, and then people, they simply charge like 2K per like a pondok kan, macam pondok kecil tu pun dah 2K kan. So imagine if you can actually, from the perspective of the products that the rural community is selling, is more, I guess, like nature friendly, because they are obviously familiar more well versed in how to grow things well, because hydroponics, it still tastes a bit like well, doesn't come from the ground directly, right? So yeah, a lot more effort to go in terms of firming things up, but the intent that you have there is fantastic. Over to you, Arif.
Cool, thank you for sharing that, Aina. Do you guys have any further questions? Team Bukikis? Any questions to ask Aina?
What is your expectation from this global service jam? session today? What is your expectation to have by the end of this?
Over to you, Wendy.
Service. So however you define it, at the end goal of all the service design has to be a service. Like, yeah, some of it will probably fit into the market society. Like, so some people actually walk away with an app or with a IT solution or with a business plan, but like some of it like can basically turn into a charity program or like an event or exhibition that providing the service to their respective community.
I see. Okay, fantastic, Wendy. Because I would want to share with you as well, with everyone, that whenever we do like a hackathon or a workshop, of course, the intent is for everyone to have fun learning. But we got to manage our expectation as well, right? GoCast is your first idea. And we would usually do this activity called Crazy 8 for you to go beyond your first idea. Crazy 8 is basically you have 8 panels. Within 8 minutes, you come up with all these possible ideas. The intensity of sketching out the ideas within 8 minutes is something that I would recommend for you to try with your team. No, because I don't want you to go home and feel frustrated that, for example, you didn't come out with like a high fidelity app or website, because even within the topic of prototyping itself, there is various ways of testing with prototype. Now, I'm sure you've seen the Lego version, right? Where everyone, the entire team actually build up the Legos and then connect with the different persona. Okay, how are they going to interact with this and so forth? And then of course, there's the prototype when it comes to web and mobile. Typically they use like a tool like Figma, for example, or even a PowerPoint deck. It's fine, right? Because what's important is that they need to move beyond the design thinking to design doing, to actually doing it. Because there's so many aha moments where they for example like this specific website, but when they actually come to doing it to cater to their users, they started to realize, okay, these are the missing gaps. Now there's also the prototype that is somewhat like an immersion, where you act it out. How does your service or product is going to work and so forth, or how it's going to interact. And then the last but never the least is actually a journey. So for example, yours is urban community, but we don't want to call the macam, hey, urban community, call it a name. Like, okay, Arif from which Felda? Okay. And then what is the end goal for Arif, right? He wants to be connected with a mentor, Wendy, to help him in promoting his product or to refine his product, because you said the keyword there is awareness, right? And I don't know, I'm just making things up over here. Okay, so you have Arif who have a fantastic product, and then at the end of it, you want someone to help Arif refine his product and also promote it. Now you got to fill up the journey in between over here. Okay, what's going to help you is actually, so it's good that, for example, Mathreen just now said that, a lot of people in the rural communities still actually listen to radios. So you actually map out the current state first. And then from there, you identify, okay, you know what, at this point, it can actually be better. So maybe, for example, in scenarios where Arif could not access to internet, maybe because he went a bit far, from his home or something, but he actually have downloaded like a quick guide or a quick homework from your GoCast site, for example, from your learning site. So that is something to consider to add. Yeah.
Awesome. Aina, thank you for sharing that. I just pasted it. I forgot to mention it to you guys. Just below the prototype examples, there's a template where you can refer to how do you put the user journey mapping. Feel free to explore. We definitely can explain more after this on how to use that template. Can I get Team Hype Hearts to share their idea? Dipersilakan. Mike Rosa.
Arif, we should applaud for the team just now.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Good progress.
So, siapakah? Siapa nak share? I thought you guys make some progress. Marilah. Nobody want to give in.
Very shy.
Tak apa. No worries. This is fine kan? No need to be shy. Aina tak makan orang.
Aina ni dia semangat sangat. Sorry lah. Sorry.
I think when we were doing the prototype, we kind of went on like autopilot actually. So everybody's doing a specific task, and then I don't know how are we gonna like combine it. Maybe everyone will speak on their part that they were doing. Yeah. So okay, since I'm speaking, then I start.
Can. That works well.
Okay, so
Share screen.
I'm having some anxiety attack.
No, September, don't worry.
Breathe.
Dah like
Breathe.
if nak cakap ni a bit scared.
Breathe.
Diffuse oil.
Okay, so we are high part. So this is our prototype board. So basically what we have come up with is a campaign to kind of like put it in simple, like connect strangers. So okay, because this is during pandemic kan, and then yeah, we have people sharing their stories online and stuff like that. But this one is a bit different because this one is more, we want to put in some more personal touch to it. So what will happen is you can send in your letters, and then we kind of like match you with someone else. So in the end of the day, you might gain a pen pal. You can continue to write to them. They tell you their stories, during this time, what they have faced. And then, or you can choose to be an anonymous writer. And then we can use this in the end to make an exhibition, turn it into an exhibition to share the stories like, oh, this is what pandemic did to fellow Malaysians at maybe different cities. We can go tour, something like that. We haven't gone into that, but that was something that came on my mind just now. So, okay, so my part was to come up with a poster. So we were just brainstorming the prototype. So we were doing poster, how to present this campaign. So some of us, we were coming up with sentences, how to capture attention and stuff, or to summarize it in a more understanding way. So this is my part. I'm the poster designer. So so we are doing like an open call for your letters. So anyone can submit their letters to us. So you have a project name. So I just randomly picked this one. We have not discussed with our team, but this is just something I picked from our brainstorming section down there. Okay, project Shattered Glass Glitter. Shattered Glass Glitter was given by Camelia. She was saying that, yeah, shattered glass, right? Once it's shattered, when you shine on it, it glitters. So you kind of like shine, give your shine to someone else too, because yeah, that like you broken, you shattered, right? You shine to that other people. So we kind of like uplift everyone in this thing that we're doing, this letter sharing thing. So what do? You can write handwritten letters, you can put photo inside, whatever you want to share it with the other person. In return, you will also receive a letter. So that is option A. Option B is I don't want to receive any letter, but I have this story I want to tell. So that will probably end up in an exhibition. Then we will go through a curation process, something like that. Okay, this is my part. I'll hand it over to someone else.
Okay.
What are you doing? Okay, wait. How should I stop share? Is it, or I'll navigate for you?
Stop share.
Okay, stop share.
Oh, up to you. Boleh lah. It's fine. Navigate.
Okay. Who is speaking?
Camelia.
Okay, Kamala, your section.
I think I think just to give just to give context to add into what September was having, maybe we'll take you through the journey first of the timeline, on the working timeline, just to understand better. Tam, do you want to go through this or do you want me to go through this?
I can go through this.
So yeah, so the working timeline. So I guess just to recap again what September was saying just now, I guess this project is to help the brokenhearted people, especially in pandemic when when they're alone and they don't have any help or support. So in conjunction of the anniversary of our first lockdown in for the pandemic, we are going to launch the campaign. So this is where all the posters come in to send about the call to action and all that, right? So within 2 months, this is where we're going to receive all these letters. So that 2 months, we're going to do the pairing, whether to connect them or whether to choose for exhibition. And then in June and July is where we're going to have the exhibition. So this exhibition is actually is part of the campaign to entice people to join as well, to get people who, it's part of the promotion, promoting plan, the marketing plan to, I guess, promote this campaign so that more and more people join. Yeah, so if you go down to the exhibition, if you can, yeah, Walid came out with this. Oh, Walid, do you want to share? Or okay, I guess I'm sharing. So yeah, so this exhibition is to bring you through a journey to get people to join. So once you go in, we took into the IKEA way of exhibiting, where it's a maze, right? They have to go through the whole journey before going out. So when you come in, we'll do a photo, an exhibition of art photo gallery of just serenity photos to calm yourself first, to get you in the mood, to be at peace. And then we'll go on to the next sense, which is the touch sense, where we want them to touch comforting textures like, like fur or any other textures that's comforting. And then it's the audio senses, where you might listen to songs or like soothing voices that calms you down. And then this is where we're going to showcase the heartbreak stories. So it's going to be a whole journey where they're going to talk about their heartbreak, this any sort of heartbreak that they experience. They digest that and feel that, and this is where I guess sympathy or empathy would come in and make you feel. And then they'll go through a blank space area, where this is for them to just reflect back, to bring them back to the present reality, to reflect on and rest our mind after going through like a heartbreaking journey. And then after that is where we're going to go through to the video part, where they just we're just going to bring them back to the natural element, bring them back to just more peaceful nature videos. There's going to be plants and everything for them to calm themselves back. And then this is where the call to action comes in, like, hey, why don't you participate in this, become a pen pal, write your stories, or if you contribute your hardships, maybe someone else will contribute. So this is where the call to action is. And then at the end you can network, and then you leave the exhibition. So the purpose of the exhibition is to get people interested to join. And then annually, I think along the way, once this is ongoing, automated, we have all our pen pals and our own community, then maybe we'll have an annual event where we do this exhibition, or we do a meetup with the people that is that's you can actually see or meet your pen pal if you choose to. And by this time, you'll probably like healed, I guess, from your heartbreak. So this is where we celebrate, like, like we did this together. You are not alone. And this is where you can actually like, okay, I'm ready to see my pen pal now, like thank them for being there for you and things like that. So that's it. Thank you.
Right. Damn. Whoa, what an experience. I know. What are your Whew, what a journey.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Both group are fantastic. You have goodie gifts for them, right? At the end, Arif?
Yeah, we do,
Oh, yeah,
definitely.
you do? Huh? Okay. All right. Thank you, September, Kamalia, Cami, for sharing. Um, I don't know. I really get excited with both group ideas. Now, I just gotta clarify that my feedback is just more of a suggestion for you to consider. Okay. I don't want you to feel macam, oh Aina ni bagi banyak pula idea kan, I overwhelm terus macam tu kan. So janganlah macam tu, okay? All right. So it reminded me of this. I'm okay. This will probably define my age, but back in school, I remember we used to have this. I don't know where it came from, but it was trending. Chain letters, the scary version and the good version. The scary version is where you suddenly get the letter kan, and then you check out, if you don't pass this on, you will be cursed for the next 8 generation. And you're like, okay, I copyright that again, and then I fold it. Okay, I give that to whoever, and then it just goes round and round, right? So why do I suggest that? Because the matching part will actually take time, right? And you don't want to be now, because I don't know if it's your forte, but for me, I'm imagining that it's not all of our fortes kan. Sebab kadang-kadang if we want to match make our friends pun macam, oh, what if this turns out sour, right? Am I going to be blamed or something? So yeah, this is to basically it's time consuming lah. So if you actually let this have that what do you call grow naturally, is it, or organic growth? You just let that letter just roam free. And I also, it reminded me of that pen pal era where I used to write letters for my friends, like all the way, and then siap kumpul stamp lagi for all the letters that I receive. Okay, nobody do that anymore, but you should start again. So, and then the topic on broken-hearted, right? I don't have the statistic whether what my concern is that it's too niche, meaning that do we actually have access to data? How many broken-hearted people? I mean, because throughout COVID, there's like a lot that have happened, of course, which I hope everyone is doing well. But one thing for sure, if we well, it's not 10,000 feet, tapi kalau kita 5 feet kan sikit, what about if we look at from the perspective of motivation? Because that one, you will tap into a mass audience. Even myself, I needed that motivation that, you know what, I can juggle with kids, with family, with work and so forth. I can do this. But it was more of like self-motivation. So if you actually consider to macam maybe broken hearted ni pun macam niche sangat, maybe kita boleh elevatekan lagi so we can actually help a lot more people. So it's coming from the intent. Your intent is fantastic already, where you want to help people recover, help people heal, help people bounce back. It also resonates with, you know, helping to motivate others. So maybe think about that. And even the words used, right? For example, the poster just now, that was a good effort, but you would not want to start with broken. You would not want to start with it's not actually a negative, I mean, okay lah. It's basically perceived as negative, right? I can be husnuzon all the way, like positive and all. I can bersangka baik lah to that product, but in general, the word broken, it conveys something like macam, oh, I don't want to be associated with that product. I don't want to be like, how am I going to share it on my social media by having this broken box or something, right? Padahal box tu, niat dia baik. Niat dia is to help you to not feel broken. I like the one where you mentioned about shine. So leverage, maybe rephrase that word sikit, macam shine through or diamond your way. I don't know, you're the best in this. Okay. I love that you have a timeline to this where you also consider to have like an exhibition. What if you're considering an offline one, I would say look at the costs, right? Because yes, there is this tendency where people like to do offline things. It can be a hybrid of both offline and online. But because of COVID as well, one of the silver lining is that there have been an extensive access to virtual exhibition, right? Even the ones that I never imagined of going, the Paris one, what the that thingy macam pyramid tu.
The
Anyway,
Louvre.
oh, Louvre. All I know is croissant. Okay. The Louvre. And then also Ghibli Studio. You know, I've always wanted to go there, and they finally now Ghibli Studio. They are known to never even let you take a photo of their exhibition. But anyway, suffice to say is that what I'm gonna suggest is if you consider to do an offline exhibition, I think there's a bit of a high cost to that. Do consider to perhaps okay lah kalau nak buat like a MVP of it, a minimum viable or a pilot, tak apa, you can go ahead. Sebab maybe there is a strategy with it, right, where you actually intentionally set up booth, for example, where people macam instead of telephone booth yang unfortunately dah tak ada sekarang, it's actually people to come into that booth and then masuk, and then there's like a headphone or something just for people to calm down. Okay, because your intent just now is for them to also enjoy this macam, okay, like calm down and so forth, which brings me to the next suggestion, Headspace, right? Headspace is this, it's still the best curated app and web I've ever encountered. They really show how much they care for their user because it is reflected on how, you know, the content curation, the animation, the short stories. Now they have an app, of course, and it have escalated during pandemic where they even large organization actually subscribe to them for their employees, right? Now you have a better idea over here actually where you tak nak lah macam invest on such a huge building and build an exhibition, but you macam break down the cost where you have this idea where I don't know what you want to call it. It's like shining booth, calming booth, where instead of like a telephone booth like the London one tu kan, dekat dalam tu is actually macam I tak tahu lah your website ke your app ke macam how do you feel today? Anxious. Okay, then the app will recommend okay. Deep breath and listen to this. So there's actually, instead of an attached phone, it's actually an attached headphone. And then there's like a timeline sikit lah, macam berapa lama apa semua. And then you keluar daripada booth tu macam, okay, I feel better now. I don't know. But it's just quite an exponential idea, but I'm just so excited about what you're doing. All right, let's do this.
Ooh, there you go. Some high class feedback over there. Any of you have questions for Aina? Any needs any clarity or anything like that? Or what do you like about her suggestions? I'm ticking every boxes.
Basically, a day is not enough, right?
Well, one whole month. When Wendy wants to take over all this, put it into a think tank project, eh?
Project, to be honest, we do have a space for it. So I think to add on to it, like because we are putting together, you know, an event. Arif knows that we are building something, and like so we also have an opening like launching event. So I think like the nature of like what the second group is doing, in fact, is kind of like we talk about that like over the lunch with Tam as well. It's like in fact it's quite suitable for the nature of it and also the narrative of it, because like you know the space that I just show a picture, initially it was a totally block out space, like nobody can enter, and then we did some destruction over it. So I think like there's one quote that I really like. There's crack in everything. That's how the light comes in, and I think it's kind of in resonance to what you guys are doing as well. And especially during this time, it's good to kind of like bring in. I totally agreeable with like what Aina was saying about, to kind of come across like I mean to start from to really bring attention like to people. It will be better to kind of angle it from a more positive light, yeah, rather than the pessimistic one, because it's less likely you will get your audience. But if let's say if there's an exhibition that like you guys putting together and it's suitable, like yeah, we really will consider it. Just so it's an option. Yeah.
Got our first
Right.
partner right there.
Just that.
Secured the bag.
Yeah. Move to Kuching ah. Huh? Me?
we have art residency room.
See. Time to move to start, guys.
Yes.
All right. Any other last questions? Anything else?
Yeah, no, thank you, Aina, for like the feedback. And I think I kind of also like, when you mentioned the chain letters, it's kind of like a pay it forward thing, it somehow in a negative perspective of it, but it has a positive outcome when you just like where it's like you're sharing your heartbreak stories, but then it's also an angle that we can look into, I think, rather than just matchmaking it. But yeah, I really like that idea. Thank you.
Right. Amazing. Awesome stuff. Wow. Anna just shared some amazing stuff as well. Thank you. Aina, any last words, I guess? Any
Oh, I double copy. I'm so sorry. How do I delete that?
That's
Terbanyak
fine.
pula dekat chat kan?
It's fine. It's okay.
Oh, jo.
It will be an
Anyway.
archive. Selected.
Yeah. I don't know why it pasted like twice. But I think I managed to recall what I said a bit just now. Reference for group 2 tu sebenarnya 2 je actually. Sebab yang tadi chain letter tu I don't have a reference for that, but that's more of a recall from experience. Actually, reference for group 2 is the headspace and the virtual exhibition. Itulah, come to think of it, virtual exhibition ni, it comes a lot with, you will probably work with like macam animators where they will help render your map, and it's actually exciting, along with architects perhaps kan, because you would want that lighting to come in, right? So yeah, it's anything is possible nowadays, and everyone is going digital. I'm sorry about the copy pasting thing, but I hope you can tell that reference for group 1 there are 5 references, and for group 2 is actually headspace and the virtual exhibition. I don't know they copy like that, why? Yeah. Okay.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much, Aina. I like to say thank you so much for spending your time. I know you have to go. You have mommy duties to be in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
So thank you so much for spending your time and giving feedback to all of us. I hope you guys managed to get some valuable feedback from Aina.
Always. I mean, I learn a lot from you, so thank you so much. Applause for everyone. Wow.
Thank you, Aina. Long time no see.
Gambati, okay? Hi.
Oh, all right. Thanks, Aina.
Bye.
Say hi to the family.
Thank you so much.
All right. Okay, guys. What do you think? All okay? What do you think about the feedback? Hope that helps.
Guys, are you okay? So by the way, like I have a friend say 5 p.m. She can be the subject if you want to test your prototype. So I think there's a lot of like suggestion for the how the prototype to kind of like iterate better. So yeah, so maybe we can let them.
Right. So I will just let it break into your breakout rooms. But this is very much pretty much free and easy until whoever wants to try out their prototype. If when this space is available, just let us know. But yeah, so good luck, guys. I hope that helps and you reiterate your stuff. So See you guys in a bit.